Hey everyone, Stacks here, checking out Doctor Doom #1. It's by writer Christopher Cantwell, and I had to look this guy up because I'd never heard of him before. And his only real writing gig up to this point was War of the Realms War Scrolls #3. However, he's also the co-creator of HALT and Catch Fire, which I guess is a Netflix series. I've never heard of it, but you go check it out. It's got good reviews both from critics and from audiences, so we'll check him out. The artist on this is Salvador Larroca, who has drawn everything on Earth. And then you have color artist Guru FX, which I'm pretty sure isn't his real name. Anyways, we start at Antlion Control Center. And Antlion Station is a moon base basically designed to remove CO2 gases from the Earth's atmosphere in order to reduce global warming. Anyways, this has been designed by Reed Richards and Tony Stark, and they're discussing it on a Fox News, CNN type TV show. Well, on this show, Dr. Doom is actually a guest, and on it, he tells them, look, this thing is going to fail. The idea of opening a black hole on the dark side of the moon and dumping space waste into it, or CO2 toxic chemicals into this black hole, just sounds like a bad idea. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I agree with him on that. But he says not only is it going to be a disaster, it's going to be a disaster on interstellar proportions because Richards is as sloppy as Stark is reckless. Well, the host here decides to go all, I don't know, whatever. They start yelling on TV and everybody just tunes out because we're not having a discussion anymore. We're having an argument. And he accuses Doom of saying the only reason you're saying this is going to fail is because you're jealous and you weren't involved with it. Well, Doom ain't having it. He says, you interrupt me at your own peril, picnic ant. Farewell. And once Dr. Doom's off the air, they think they could chime in and try to talk some smack about him, but I have a feeling that ain't gonna stick. Following the interview, Dr. Doom is just walking down the hallway. He's getting an update, basically, of, hey, what's going on in the country. And after he gets this update, he actually tells his herald, Victorious, hey, Victorious, one final task. Bring me the newsman named Steve. From there, he claims he's going out on the yard to see the autumn leaves change, and instead he's actually stepping outside because he wants to see this black hole being formed on the backside of the moon. And he does. He sits there, observes it, and he is truly, I think, wary about it. From there, it jumps to him in his den, and he's sitting there behind a desk writing. And what he's writing is to himself, truly my foresight weakens with each passing year, for the world is, and he stops. And as he sits looking at this paper, wondering what to put next, suddenly Kang appears in the room. And Kang, he has to ask, where am I? And he explains, like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in Quadrant Zulu. Why does this keep happening? And Dr. Doom pulls a pretty awesome offhanded insult here. And he tells him, my guess is you've traveled through time so much, you must have damaged your chromosomes. But as this conversation carries forward, you realize that these two aren't allies, but there's a mutual respect they have for one another. And Doom does ask about the Antlion project, but Kang says he's not sure which timeline this is, so it's hard for him to say if it was successful or not in this timeline. Finally, the conversation comes around to Dr. Doom telling a parable about a painter who he chose from every color that was out there, and he finally found one particular color that he really liked until he ran out of it and he couldn't find it again. And Kang said he's familiar with this parable, but it says that happiness was the color and it led to his destruction. And Dr. Doom explains, no, it wasn't the color that led to it, it was the pursuit of the color that led to his downfall. And his downfall is that he never painted again because he was so focused on trying to pursue this color. And Kang stops him and asks him, Doom, what has gotten you so melancholy? And in that moment he disappears. So following that encounter, he gets ready for bed and he steps out of the bathroom, and when he does, suddenly there's a family there, a wife and 2 kids, and him without the scars on his face. And there's all this conversation of all these great things that are going on, how they've created a control mechanism for weather, and how Dr. Doom can instantly approve it because he's the world minister. And he's taken back by this, and he asks himself, what is this? Children. And it says down below there in his head, the color of happiness. But he steps away from this and he opens the door to step out. He sees the Antlion Station and the black hole sucking everything end. Basically, it's become uncontrolled and it's destroying the earth, and it's that universal catastrophic failure that he was talking about. From there, we jump several weeks ahead, and Dr. Doom finishes writing that sentence. He finishes that sentence, and what he says is the world is lost. And he's being asked by one of his advisors about advice. Doom doesn't have advisors. One of his servants that, hey, nothing's happened with Antlion Station. It's actually reduced global temperatures, and everything is great. We've prevented global warming. And he says nothing's happened yet. It'll all come crashing down soon enough. And he looks up and sees the reporter that he ordered, and he's been tied up, and he says, make sure he gets fed today. From there, you jump to him meditating, and he's thinking about having a son, and they're out fishing. And it's just this nice, calm moment of him thinking of what happiness, what life could have been. We then cut to Antlion Station, where they're delivering the stuff that's 30 times more toxic than nuclear runoff created by CO2, and they're delivering it to the black hole when suddenly there's giant explosions. In the next panel, you realize that those rockets, they fired from Latveria, and they completely decimate Antlion Station. Just after that, as soon as he can get there, he's in his control room asking who gave the order to launch those missiles. And Doom is running the figures and asking for details. There's over 3,000 people that were killed on Antlion Station. And when they look up on the news channel that somebody is flying the Latvian flag at Antlion Station. And with that, his herald starts warning him, the U.S. has just authorized a unilateral action. NATO units within Romania and Hungary have already been mobilized. He tells him, I need to speak with somebody now. Presidents, prime minister, dictators, somebody, any ruler. And then he gets another notification saying airstrikes inbound, multiple sites. And then when he tries to stand up his defense system, it's been disabled. It's completely offline. And in a shocking moment, knowing he's been played, knowing that somebody has forced his hand in this situation and that he's being used as a scapegoat for these attacks, he tells his generals, surrender. Surrender, full unconditional surrender now. And because the situation keeps getting worse for Doom, he gets a notification that every superhuman in the Baltic is already gotten a message saying that Doom is to be either captured or killed. He basically says, look, I'm content with that. I'll be arrested in the next hour. But he tells Victorious, look, you are going to have to step up. You wanted to be a hero. Now is your time to step up and to be the regent for Latveria. But even she has to ask, is this your doing? Tell me the truth. And he walks away and he just says, how dare you, Zora? How dare you? From there, we jump ahead a couple hours, and you have a whole fleet of attack helicopters coming in as Doom is standing out on this balcony. It's then out of nowhere, he's suddenly attacked by Union Jack. And Union Jack gets a couple good shots in, but he's no match for Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom is telling him, look, stand down. But before Dr. Doom can do anything else to Union Jack, he takes a shot in the shoulder from Agent Zero, which in all honesty doesn't do anything but really tick him off. He grabs both of them, slings them in the air using magic, and just starts wailing on them. And after he's putting both these guys through walls, he said, look, stop. I'd like to inform you both that I intend to surrender. And then Dr. Doom standing there looking at these hovering gunships and has another flashback. And it's him sitting there talking to his wife, saying that he's never bored with peace, that having a healthy planet, and all these other great things that he wanted to do. And in that moment, he states, the world is not mine. And that's where this ends. So overall, I'm interested. Somebody pulled a fast one on Dr. Doom, and you know he's not going to let that sit. I'm probably going to pick up issue 2 just out of curiosity, but I'm really not interested in following this, I don't think, as far as an ongoing. You know, if this was a 6-issue mini, you'd probably have me for all 6, but I really don't want to go, I really don't want to dive in all the way with this storyline right now. The story honestly seemed a little disjointed. I know it's issue 1 and he's putting some plot points in place that he can tug on later, but come on, I gotta make fun of the fact that You took CO2, made something 30 times more toxic than a nuclear runoff or nuclear waste. You have to send that to the moon, so you have to put it on a rocket, send it to the moon, and it's extremely toxic. And then you have to open a black hole on the moon to dispose of this stuff. Somebody needs to go back to the drawing board and consider risk analysis in this whole idea, because what they're doing is just, it's absurd. I don't like to harp on things, and I don't want to be negative, but that was stupid. I do like the idea of an undercover, an attempt to dethrone Doom, and I'll follow that for a couple issues, but that's probably it. If the second issue really doesn't just grab my attention, then I'll probably fall off. As far as my recommendation, I don't know that I'd recommend this. Maybe. I will say the art was good. I would definitely recommend the artist. So, I mean, it's still just kind of a maybe. I guess what else can I say? It didn't blow me away, so it's an average book. Hey guys, if you got any comments, just hit them down below. Leave a like. And as always, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, guys. I sincerely appreciate it. That's all I got. Real Comic Stacks. Out.